What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Jay. Guys, today I'm going to share my Special Forces assessment and selection experience with you, okay? So my journey started in 2008, guys. I joined the military in 2003, right? I did approximately 5 years in conventional units. And then in 2008, we had just gotten back from a deployment, and my first sergeant called me into his office and he told me, that I had just been DA selected to go be a drill sergeant, right? I wasn't trying to do that, right? So I then started to look around and see what else was available for me, what else I could do to, challenge myself, to become, my better self, right? It just so happened at the time I had a squad leader, that was, getting stuff together, go to selection, so I appreciate it. You know who you are. Shout out to you, right? If it wasn't for him, I would have never, be where I am today, because leading up to that point, I didn't know what selection was, right? He started to do the legwork to go to selection, and I followed in his footsteps. Okay, so in March of 2008, guys, I attended selection, right? I was 24 at that point, right? I was in, probably the best shape of my life, right? I could run like nobody's business. I could rock like nobody's business, push-ups and sit-up. Like I said, I was, 24 with, all type of testosterone flowing through my body. I thought I could, conquer the world, right? So I hit phase one, running, literally, right? But what got me through phase one was my competitive nature, guys, right? So doing those time runs and those time rucks, every time we would hit a trail, every time I passed a dude to my left or to my right, my mindset was along the lines of, hey, that's one less guy I got to compete with, right? Catch the next guy. Every time we did that, guys, even the nasty Nick, as we're going through the obstacles, it was, oh man, I climbed the rope faster than this dude. That's one less guy I got to compete with, right? So that mindset got me through phase one, right? Phase two was a little bit different, right? Because I was out there, by myself conducting land navigation, okay? But I also, relied heavily on my, physical prowess to get me through phase two, right? Because when I hit phase two, I was still a novice, at land navigation. I wasn't, nowhere near where I am now, okay? So if I had to go 6 miles down the road, like I set a backstop, right, around that general area, and I just ran to that general direction. Once I got to my backstop, I found a tap point and was able to walk into my point from there, right? If I overshot it or I was lost, then I just used that same speed that I had and backtrack to a known location and then repeat the process, right? So I was, that crazy dude out there in phase two. I was just running all over the place. So I never got tired, and I just kept doing that throughout phase two until eventually I figured it out and I was good for the STAR exam whenever that came around, right? Although unconventional, that's what got me to phase two, right? I did a whole lot of running back and forth, because again, leading up to that point, I had some land navigation experience, but it wasn't sufficient enough to, conquer, phase two without, using my physical prowess, right? After phase two, guys, was phase three, right? And that's when life started to happen, as I like to say, right? Everything that you could think of that can go wrong started going wrong in phase three, right? Rolled my ankle, right? Blisters starting to show up. My back started hurting.
This week, what was the problem?
I broke my back.
What do you mean by that?
My back is broken.
What?
Right? Everything started going wrong, guys. But this is what got me through phase three, right? While all that stuff was going on, I took a step back and I noticed the guys to my left and to my right, they were dealing with the same thing. Their bodies was giving up on them too. They had blisters. So my mindset was, well, wait a minute. Like, these guys are going through the same thing. Why am I complaining? Why am I feeling sorry for myself when they're pushing through it, right? So I changed my mindset. I'm like, hey, when it hurts, guess what? Everyone's hurting. We have a few more days to go. Let's push through this. We can do it, right? So we started to motivate each other within our squads, right? We started to compensate for each other's weaknesses, guys. And that's what got me through phase 3. All right. So after phase 3, guys, we went in, they sat me down. They was like, hey, what, job you want? It was easy for me because I was already a 12 Bravo. So I transitioned over to 18 Charlie, right? It was like, hey, what language do you want? It was easy for me. I'm from Haiti. I already speak French, so I just chose French, guys. Everything lined up, right? I went back to my unit. I went to airborne school, and then I came back, cleared, and then I PCS'd to Fort Bragg, guys, to start the Q course, right? Again, guys, the intent is to, share my knowledge with you and wisdom with you after every segment, right? So we're getting ready to move into the qualification course, or the Mighty Q, right? I'm going to break it down just like I did with selection, right? And then we're going to cover it in intimate detail, right? If you haven't, seen any of the selection breakdowns, I put the links below, guys. I encourage you to take a look at them. And if you have any questions, right, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. I'll get to them. I appreciate you guys watching, and you guys have a good one.